This is Michael Brady, a man whose attempted prison escape ended in one of the deadliest attacks inside a North Carolina correctional facility. What began as a bid for freedom turned into a massacre that left 4 prison workers dead inside Pasquotank Correctional Institution. Brady was already serving a 24-year sentence for attempted murder after shooting at a North Carolina state trooper. 4 years into that sentence, he and 3 other inmates launched a coordinated and brutal attack. During the violence, Brady later admitted to stabbing one victim multiple times and striking another repeatedly until the man stopped moving. Another victim was beaten with a hammer so many times that Brady said he did not know how many blows he delivered. The attack unfolded with hammers and scissors. One witness described seeing Brady beat a man named George with such force, it looked like he was trying to break concrete. Blood covered the scene. The elevator floor was slick with it. A prison worker recalled stepping between 2 injured co-workers, sliding on the floor as they tried to reach them because there was nowhere to stand that was not soaked in blood. After the killings, Brady attempted to escape by hopping a fence. He did not make it far. He was captured at gunpoint and taken back into custody as the facility remained in chaos. At trial, prosecutors argued that Brady was not just a participant but the architect of the attack. They told the jury he originated the plan, led it, and showed no remorse for what had been done. The evidence, they said, made clear who was responsible for turning a prison unit into a killing ground. After being found guilty, Brady took the stand during his sentencing. He told the court he was there to tell the truth and invited any questions, saying he did not care whether his answers helped or hurt him. Under questioning, he acknowledged that he was not insane. At just 18 years old, Justin Back was killed in his own home during a robbery that spiraled into brutal violence. The men responsible were Austin Myers and Timothy Mosley, later convicted in Waynesville, Ohio, for his murder. What began as a plan to steal a safe ended with a teenager pleading for his life. Myers and Mosley went to Justin's house targeting a safe that belonged to his father. During the robbery, Justin was attacked with a choke wire. The method was chosen because it was believed to leave no mess and make the crime easier. But Justin fought back. He struggled. He resisted. He was not easily overpowered. As the struggle continued, the violence escalated. Justin was stabbed 21 times. As it happened, he begged them to stop. He asked why this was happening. He pleaded for his life. The attack did not stop until he died. At trial, Timothy Mosley testified against Myers in exchange for a plea deal. He pleaded guilty and received a life sentence in prison. Austin Myers then took the stand himself. Facing the jury, he asked them to spare his life for the sake of his family, hoping to avoid the death penalty. He told them that if he were put to death, it would only cause more pain and suffering for another family, not him. He said he would not feel anything, but innocent people would be hurt. Then Justin's father addressed the court. He said he would not stand there and explain how much he hated Myers, stating that it was beyond question. Instead, he said he hoped that every time Myers closed his eyes at night, he would see his son, Justin. The jury ultimately recommended the death sentence. Myers was given one final chance to speak, this time directly to the judge. He said there were good things he could still do with his life if he were allowed to live. The judge was not persuaded. The court ruled that the defendant did not understand how precious life is. With that, the maximum sentence was imposed. Death was ordered for Austin Gregory Myers on the charge of aggravated murder. This is Nico Jenkins, a name that would come to represent one of the most violent crime sprees in Omaha, Nebraska. Over the span of just 10 days, Jenkins was responsible for 4 murders. According to the record, the violence began when he was 15 years old, setting in motion a path that would end inside a courtroom facing the ultimate punishment. After being sent to a youth correctional facility, Jenkins served a 10-year sentence for carjacking and assault. Just 1 month after his release, the killings began. Jenkins shot and killed 2 individuals during a robbery. 8 days later, he targeted his next victim, a former inmate he had originally met in prison. That man was shot and killed inside his own garage. 2 days after that, Jenkins carried out his 4th murder during another carjacking. Jenkins was eventually arrested on unrelated charges. It was during this arrest that investigators were able to connect him directly to the murders. The ammunition used in one of the killings was traced back to him. Police confronted him with the evidence. His DNA was found at the murder scene. His DNA was inside the car. The weapon was recovered. The case against him was complete. Jenkins later pleaded no contest to 4 counts of first-degree murder. He also waived his right to a jury trial, meaning a 3-judge panel would determine his guilt. The court found that each murder was deliberate and planned. The victims were pre-selected. The acts were purposeful. After Jenkins was found guilty on all 4 counts, the courtroom grew still. He remained seated, showing little movement as the judges delivered their decision. The panel ruled that the death penalty was appropriate and imposed it for each. This is Nico Jenkins, a name that would come to represent one of the most violent crime sprees in Omaha, Nebraska. Over the span of just 10 days, Jenkins was responsible for 4 murders. According to the record, the violence began when he was 15 years old, setting in motion a path that would end inside a courtroom facing the ultimate punishment. After being sent to a youth correctional facility, Jenkins served a 10-year sentence for carjacking and assault. Just 1 month after his release, the killings began. Jenkins shot and killed 2 individuals during a robbery. 8 days later, he targeted his next victim, a former inmate he had originally met in prison. That man was shot and killed inside his own garage. 2 days after that, Jenkins carried out his 4th murder during another carjacking. Jenkins was eventually arrested on unrelated charges. It was during this arrest that investigators were able to connect him directly to the murders. The ammunition used in one of the killings was traced back to him. Police confronted him with the evidence. His DNA was found at the murder scene. His DNA was inside the car. The weapon was recovered. The case against him was complete. Jenkins later pleaded no contest to 4 counts of first-degree murder. He also waived his right to a jury trial, meaning a 3-judge panel would determine his guilt. The court found that each murder was deliberate and planned. The victims were pre-selected. The acts were purposeful. After Jenkins was found guilty on all 4 counts, the courtroom grew still. He remained seated, showing little movement as the judges delivered their decision. The panel ruled that the death penalty was appropriate and imposed it. This is the execution case of Markeith Lloyd, the man convicted of murdering an Orlando police officer. From the stand, Lloyd insisted he had been framed, repeatedly claiming he knew nothing about what was happening and that everything around him was a setup. At the time, Lloyd was already on the run. He had been accused of killing his former girlfriend, who was pregnant with his child, and police had been searching for him for weeks. About a month later, he was spotted inside a Walmart in Orlando. Surveillance footage showed Lloyd walking through the store, unaware that law enforcement was closing in. Orlando Police Lieutenant Deborah Clayton arrived moments later. She pulled into the parking lot, grabbed a shopping cart, and walked inside. Investigators later said the 2 crossed paths multiple times in and around the store. Lieutenant Clayton had been alerted to Lloyd's presence and attempted to stop and arrest him. That encounter turned violent. A shootout broke out. Lieutenant Clayton was shot 4 times and killed during the confrontation. Lloyd fled the scene once again, disappearing as officers rushed to save her life. What followed was a 9-day manhunt that gripped the state. When Lloyd was finally located, he attempted to escape during his arrest. In the struggle, he lost his left eye. He was taken into custody and later brought to trial. In court, Lloyd took the stand and described a world he believed was trying to kill him. He told the jury he was only reacting, repeating the word over and over. He said that even when officers opened the door, he reacted without thinking, insisting fear controlled his actions. The jury did not accept his explanation. They found Lloyd guilty. During the sentencing phase, the courtroom grew heavy as Lieutenant Clayton's sister delivered a victim impact statement. She spoke of loss and responsibility, saying her sister had stood in for their mother when there was no one else. She spoke through tears, describing the pain of losing her sibling and how deeply she would always miss her. Then came the verdict. The jury announced that they unanimously recommended the death sentence. As the words were read aloud, Lloyd appeared to mouth something toward the public gallery. The room remained tense and silent. Moments later, the silence broke. Lloyd erupted, shouting that people had been trying to kill him. The judge immediately called for his removal from the courtroom. The judge later agreed with the jury's recommendation and formally sentenced Lloyd to death. He was taken away in restraints, returning to a cell where he now remains, waiting behind bars for his sentence to be carried out.